Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Jared Flash Gordon. Good fight. Definitely a good fight. I mean, this is a great card. This is like, end the year with names. That's essentially what I think. Like the idea was with this December card, just stack it with names that people really give a fuck about. And Paddy Pimblett is one of those guys that a lot of people are starting to care about, especially over the last year. Jared Gordon is definitely a step up in competition for Paddy Pimblett. Definitely a big test, but Paddy didn't really seem to put on all that weight between his last fight in the UK and this one right now coming up this weekend, which I think will actually benefit his cardio quite a bit. We talk about how like those rough weight cuts are bad for your cardio, bad for your chin. So, not that Paddy's fights have ever really gone on for long in the UFC, but I think that this one has the potential to go a lot longer than any of his previous ones because of the quality of competition here. So that cardio is already good enough to work there, but he doesn't have to put his body through absolute hell of like, how he's like, I, 6 chickens that I might, like, I can't really do his voice, but he's got that weird Scouser accent.
17 pizzas?
Yeah, 10 pizzas and chickens and, he's a funny guy. Yeah, I like that video of him when he that's going around now.
Is it on Barstool where Molly's talking about? Well, then we went here, and then we had this, and then we went over there, and then he's like, "Had me a hot dog, mate." And then
that's a good one. That's a good Paddy. I like the video of him now, though. I don't know if you saw it with the Ring camera when he's like, "Me dog just took a
shit." I didn't want to not tell you.
That's so funny, dude.
That's got to just leave it, love. And he's like, "You sure you don't want me to clean it up?"
Oh my god, bro! Yeah, he's a funny guy. So for that, I hope he gets a win. I think he could this weekend. I don't think Jared Gordon is a guy that like really presses the pace super crazy. We saw his last fight against. Now his name is escaping me, but in his last fight,
Gordon Levitt.
Jared Gordon's last fight against Leonardo Santos.
Yeah.
That wasn't really a fight where the pace was being pushed all too crazy. Like, Jared Gordon is in his face trying to hunt him down, but he's also not trying to do too much in that fight because he was worried about Leonardo Santos taking him down. We all know Paddy the Baddy has really great jiu-jitsu at this point. You look at that work that he did against Jordan Levitt where ultimately ending the fight with that choke where he trapped Levitt's arm with one of his hooks, with his leg. And there was really nowhere for Jordan Levitt to go and no maneuvering out of that rear naked choke in that situation. Really good grappling and jiu-jitsu out of Paddy the Baddy. And Jared Gordon's going to know that again this weekend, just like his last fight. So I think Paddy the Baddy is going to be the aggressor here. Jared Gordon has the potential to catch him maybe 1 or 2 times if he doesn't take it down, super fast. Paddy take it to the ground very fast. But I think once it gets to the ground, clear advantage to Paddy Pimblett. It's just a matter of stifling any sort of counter shots. Any uppercuts or knees coming up the middle from Jared Gordon, avoiding that that 2 jab that Jared Gordon throws when he's advancing and just getting in there and grabbing him by the hips, going for the double leg takedown. So I think Paddy the Baddy, he's got clear ground advantage. Like I already said, I think he's going to win this one by submission. Jared Gordon doesn't have too many losses to his name, but I believe a few of them are by some rear naked chokes. So there is a little bit of a weakness there. I'm going with Paddy. Paddy's a slight favorite this weekend at
minus 200.
Minus 200. Okay. Well, I'll take that. I'll actually, sweeten it a little bit, Paddy to win by submission. But this could go the distance. Jared Gordon's solid competition, but I really think Paddy the Baddy's going to go in there, take him down, lock something up. What do you got, Tom?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because Jared Gordon, I look at two fights to tell me, how this is potentially going to go. And I look at that as Grant Dawson and that's Joe Solecki. One of them, he was able to grind it out to a decision and get the split victory over Joe Solecki, who a lot of people were touting about his wrestling ability and his grappling ability. And it was really impressive of Jared Gordon to go in there and out wrestle him. And that was a very wrestling heavy fight. And then you talk about Grant Dawson, and he was doing really well to dispel all of the wrestling advances by Grant Dawson in the first round. In the second round, started to creep in, and then in the third round, Grant Dawson, after a war back and forth, was able to sneak in the rear naked choke submission. So that really speaks a little bit to the gas tank of Jared Gordon and how that's going to be able to compare to Paddy Pimblett. I think this is one of those fights that we see in the beginning. Jared Gordon is going to have all of the potential to start fast and land some punches, because I think Jared Gordon is absolutely going to be the best striker that Paddy has fought, at least inside of the UFC. Luigi Vendramini had the glaring weakness in terms of the ground game, but Paddy was able to go in there and knock him out easily, because I think Luigi was concerned with that, and Jared is not going to be. Jared Gordon is a brown belt through John Danaher. So he is not going to be concerned with the ground game at all, even if Paddy takes it there. Now, I think Paddy's going to be a little bit better, but Jordan is a little bit more compact, a little bit of a stronger guy. So it's going to be interesting to see how those factors go against each other. Paddy, of course, in his last fight against Jordan Levitt, he did get that by submission, but he had a little bit, well, not a little bit, not much pushback. But Jordan Levitt, I think, was probably one of the better ground guys up until that point that he has faced. And he had given him a little trouble. I think that went into the second round there. So with all of that being said, I still think that Paddy Pimblett is going to find a way to get it done. But if he, has one of those situations that he typically does in his fights where he gets rocked early, I think Jared Gordon is going to have the fearlessness of not being nervous about the ground game and for coming back from Paddy to be able to capitalize. And I would not be shocked if we have a first round finish by Jared Gordon. But I think that that's in, if you're going to run some type of whatever, some type of simulation to figure out, how many times this is going to happen, that happen, and figure out the probabilities. I think the most probable outcome here is that Paddy Pimblett wins, and I think it's probable that it happens by submission late in the fight. But you got to be worried about Jared Gordon coming in early because of Paddy Pimblett's susceptibility to get hit and Jared Gordon's sneaky power in that regard, at least that he's shown so far. So interesting fight. Gonna have to go Paddy. I think it's a little bit safer here.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm a huge Paddy fan. What's not to like, right? We were just talking about the personality. I think his fights are all entertaining, and not a knock on him whatsoever. I don't ever think he's going to be a champion. It's a hard road to get there, and not saying he won't. It's possible, but you could still be a fan of a guy and think he's going to lose a fight. Like look at Tai Tuivasa last week. So,
Right.
Am I growing?
And against Cyril Gahn too. Picked against him twice in a row.
Yeah. So, I'm growing. Well, I'm a bigger Cyril Gahn fan than I am Tai Tuivasa, so I'm a huge Cyril guy. But I am growing less confident in Paddy as they give him like higher levels of competition. So it is certainly possible that he loses to Jared Gordon, but I agree that Paddy Pimblett is the safer pick. But Jared Gordon, tough competition for Paddy Pimblett this weekend. What's up, Men of Order Sports? Check out menoforder.com. We love working with them over there. We post a blog on menoforder.com every week with our UFC picks, a little bit of more insight, different angles, links to all of our content. If you're looking for our Spotify stuff, it'll be in there. So definitely check out menoforder.com.